I got your email. Hey, we're live. It says we're live, but I don't know. We'll see if it's true or not. It shows nobody's watching, but we'll give it the 15 seconds to start up. So maybe everybody already went to bed. You never know.
Maybe.
All right.
That one guy that usually is always in the comments is not in the comments. What's his name?
Ground Fog.
Yeah, that one.
He usually hits it all the time. So, all right. We're 28 seconds in. We should be live. Greg is here. So, Greg, it's Greg's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Greg.
Greg is 25 again this year, I bet.
So, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Homestead HQ. We have the wrong thing up here.
Oh, we can
come back to the Homestead HQ where we talk about homesteading and preparedness. We're so glad that you're here. My name is Shelly, and this is...
And I'm Jake. And Shelly is tired, I think. Shelly's all kinds of fun stuff at work, hadn't you, Shelly?
It seems like every time we do this show, I'm like, I am so dead. But I'm telling you, 8 o'clock at night, it's like my bedtime.
We're going to have to get you like some uppers just to take on Wednesday night. Is that what they call them?
No, I'm not doing uppers.
Isn't that what the truckers used to take?
I guess.
That or they.
The last 2 days at work, we've been doing strategic planning for 2026, and it has it's like all day, and but yesterday was kind of cool. We started at 8 in the morning and went till about 1, and then we left and went to a bowling alley in Glasgow and had lunch and bowled, and that was kind of fun. But then today it was all day. And my brain is fried, y'all. It's just fried.
Wow.
Hey, Michelle.
I found something funny because you told me you didn't have a news article, and this strikes me as funny. I know we're getting out of order, but I saw this. This is on Babylon Bee because you should get your news from Babylon Bee because it is mostly correct. And I have not read this. I read the headline, and it struck a chord. Because my mother-in-law calls my wife all the time, and this is what it is. Mom needs you to come over and fix whatever she did to the TV. Once a week, my mother-in-law calls my wife, and it's like, Whitney, the TV's messed up. And then she starts blaming it all on the TV, that she didn't press any button or anything. And it says, according to sources, Mom just called because she desperately needs to talk to you. She needs you to come over and fix whatever she did to the TV. So eyewitnesses say the TV just went black one day. Your mom tried everything. The power button, the channel up button, the plus button, the button that looks like a rainbow, even hitting the TV like in the old days. Nothing has worked. Mom experts believe this is an issue that you are only capable of fixing. And it's got a lot of other stuff. It's hilarious. Oh, in a heartfelt voice message, your mom said, Dad is really upset because I did something to the TV and he can't figure it out. Please, you're our only hope. At publishing time, the TV was on the wrong input. So
that's funny.
And I'm serious. It's like she does. She's like, she calls her at least once a week. Something's happened to the TV. Whitney, she's like, you got to come fix it. And my wife's like, I have to go over there and fix her TV. And it's something stupid all the time. So Michelle says she's glad she caught us live. She loves your content. Michelle, we appreciate it. And awesome. Cutvie Farmers in here in Michigan. He's the guy with like 3 million head of cows.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah. Close to 3 million. Really, I think it's like 4,500 or something, or 4,600. So
well, we know how Jason math works, so I got you.
Yeah. My math is pretty spot on. I'm good at math.
Jason's math is worse than chicken math.
Well, it depends on what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with guns, that's one thing. It's like the guy said, my biggest fear in life is that when I die, my wife will sell my guns for what I told her I paid for them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that 6,400 cows.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he has to tell us like every show because Jason's like, he's got 5 million cows.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't even count 6,400. I'd have to take my shoes. I'd have to be pulling my shoes off and everything. So
that's a whole lot of T-bone right there.
Yes, that would be good. Speaking of T-bone, tell everybody, a lot of people know what I did on Saturday, but some people might not know the great expansion to your farm.
So Jason came over Saturday and we built a cow shelter, and I'm really proud of us because, well, we didn't buy anything. I was sitting here trying to think. We didn't buy anything. We did that whole thing out of what I had on hand and what you had on hand.
Well, the only thing you bought was those little stakes. But
well, no, I mean, but I already had those. I actually had bought those. I bought them last fall when they put our perimeter fence in, because there were a couple of places that the fence was kind of off the ground, just because of the terrain. And I got them so, if we ever had like lambs and all of that, they couldn't get under the fence. I was going to go around and stick them around there. And so I may have to order some more. I don't know. But I had those on hand too. But we had some stalls that were in our barn when we bought our property. Like the tubing corral things or whatever.
Yeah, corral panels.
And so we had removed some of those out of our barn. We still have one stall in the back that we have hay in, but we had removed all the other ones because we wanted to put a table in there to butcher on and all that kind of thing. So we had those just leaning up against the side of the barn. And then we had some extra hog panels and a cattle panel. And so we just made like a hoop house, and Jason brought over this huge billboard tarp thing, and we cut that and put it over the top and fastened. He had what was that thing? Grommet maker or grommet puncher thing or whatever.
A little grommet kit to put grommets in tarps.
Yeah.
Harbor Freight.
So we did that and fastened it all together, and it looks great. I think we did a great job.
It's going to work for what we need for ginger for this winter. And then, if it survives the winter, we'll use it a little bit longer, and then eventually build something a little bit more structurally sound. But I think it's going to work.
And then we went over. So I don't know if I've talked about this on here or not, but so since I started working with Chronically Healthy and trying to get healthier and all of that, I've found out like I can drink raw milk, but I can't drink store-bought milk. So I go to another county to get my milk dealer. Randy, every time we go get milk, he's like, I feel like a bootlegger. But so we were over there Sunday getting milk, and the guy that we get milk from, him and his wife, they have a cattle trailer, and not a big one. It's like, it's like a horse trailer, I guess, like a short one. And it has the hitch that we need for our truck, not a gooseneck. And so I asked him if we could, and I met this guy. I sold him some pigs. Gosh, I guess it was last spring or something. I met him through George that's in KSL. And so I've been going and buying milk periodically or whatever. So and the very first time I went out to their place, just out of the blue, the guy's like, if you ever need to borrow that trailer up there, you're more than welcome to borrow it. And I'm just like, okay, like it just caught me off guard or whatever. So this is several trips out there later. We pull in, and so I asked him. I kind of felt bad asking him to borrow it, but so I asked him if I could rent it, and he was like, "Well, I guess." And I said, "Well, how much do you want to rent it?" And he said, "Nothing." He said, "As long as you take care of it, I'm okay." He said, "I'm not using it right now. You can take it." And Randy and I ended up, staying over there and hanging out for, I don't know, we were there for a little over an hour, just, chit-chatting with them. They've got, him and his wife have 7 kids. They have one that's the youngest one, just turned a year old, I think. And they're building this house, and it's a really neat looking house. I think they used to be Amish, but super nice people. Oh my gosh. And when we left on Sunday, we left with the trailer. I had 2 gallons of milk, and which I buy those. And then she gave me a bottle of red beet wine that's supposed to be good for my blood or something. And she gave me a whole flat of ever-bearing strawberries. She went out in the garden and just started pulling up strawberries and gave me all these strawberries to bring home. I was like, oh my God, you guys are like so awesome. But yeah.
You made out like a bandit then.
I did, but we were over there just chatting and everything. They're super nice people. And we're like, every time we go, they're like asking us questions about stuff that we do on our homestead, and then they're giving us ideas of stuff that they do on their homestead. And I'm really glad that we met them, and we're starting to build a friendship, and they just seem like really great people.
Wow. Tell what else have you got done? Do you want to talk about the other thing?
No, I don't.
All right. We won't talk about that.
Maybe later, not right now.
All right. Michelle says she's in zone 8B in Virginia, and her temps are in the 50 to 70 degree range.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's about what it is here right now. I mean, it's, well, shoot, for our...
it's a little rainy, but it's been nice outside.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I looked at the weather down in Tennessee for the Saturday. It's going to be like 69 where we're going to be for our super secret squirrel training down there. So we're going to have pretty good weather. I'm tickled with it.
I actually came home from work today and planted strawberries in the dark. I was bringing wood chips over and laying out cardboard and all that stuff because, I mean, tomorrow night I need to pack for our super secret squirrel mission. And then, Friday we'll be leaving or what. And I thought, I got to get those strawberries in the ground because I don't want to lose. She gave me great big clusters of strawberries. I mean, plants.
Can't be
like, I don't want to lose those. I got to get those in the ground.
Oh, yeah. Cook says last August, the wife and I went to Kentucky and the Ark Experience and the Creation Museum and Buckeyes. We went last winter, we went up to whatever, Perfect North or wherever. I think it's what it is. And went tubing and skiing and all that. And we drove by there. And if we had time, I wanted to stop in there, but we just did not have time. I want to go up there sometime. It looks cool.
I think we're planning a family trip up there in the spring.
It looked cool.
Yeah.
It looked cool. I want to go. And then, yeah. KB says, until Dad sold the cows in late 2001, I drank raw milk out of the bulk tank. Yeah. I mean, that's...
Like, my stomach can't even handle store-bought milk. And I've drank milk all my life. But the last few years, I've gotten to where, it kind of makes me sick. And then... a friend, I think it was my sister-in-law, had bought some raw milk. We were up camping in Indiana with her, and she was like, here, try this. And I tried it, and it didn't bother my stomach at all. And I mean, that just proves right there, but I don't know. If you listen to Ken Berry, you're not supposed to be drinking milk anyways because it's not designed for adults.
Yeah. Let me see. Michelle wants to know, please tell me how to care for my asparagus. I'm a first-time gardener and feel a little bit lost with these. That's a question for Shelly. My asparagus, I planted it, and it went to hell in a handbasket.
So asparagus is, it's one of those plants. So you plant it, like the crowns, and you let it go. I want to say this year was our 3rd year of having the crowns in the ground. The longer you can let it go, and we haven't harvested any, the longer you can let it go, the longer it will last. If you can make it to like year 3, 4, somewhere around in there. And I noticed this year, I didn't harvest any this year either, but I noticed this year I had tons of stalks that came up. So, probably when I come back from this trip this weekend, I'll go out and cut all of that kind of level with the ground and just lay it down and let it mulch on, on top of it. But, if you can let it go 3 to 4 years and just let it grow, then you'll have asparagus for like 20 years. It'll just keep growing every year. So once you get those crowns established, you're good to go, but just let it go for a little bit. I hope that answered your question.
I don't like asparagus. I tried planting some of it, and I kind of gave up. I was like, Whitney can go buy asparagus. I'm not going to mess with this anymore.
And it's good to put mulch around it. So like when they start coming up, I mean, not like wood chips and stuff. They like that kind of thing. So I hope that helps.
I didn't do much else this weekend, honestly, other than coming up and doing that. Did you get your garden cleaned up?
After we got about half of it cleaned up. After you left, gosh, we cut a bunch of limbs out of that dead tree that's out there where the pigs are at, and we brought all of those up, and they're all piled in the backyard. They need to be cut up to put in a burn pile. We completely tore out that old bed that's next to, there's like an old garden bed that was next to our garden, and then that little garden that was over there, we tore all of that stuff out and got all of that cleaned up. And I found 5 million, I sound like you, I found 5 million Jerusalem artichokes over there that I then fed to my pigs. What else? We got that all cleaned up. The kids worked in the garden, and we got about half of the garden cleaned up. I want to go through and till up some of the areas around there, like around my beds and stuff. And then I'm going to lay down that
the tarp,
the billboard tarp that you gave me, the what was left out there, just mainly for the walkways that, because it's overrun with weeds. But I'm about halfway there on the garden. The kids went around picking up stuff. My son-in-law fixed the steps to go into the kids' fort, the play fort. So it was like a bunch of little projects that we got done. We're not 100% done, but now it's to the point they helped us do the big stuff. And now it's to the point that it's stuff that Randy and I can handle no problem. Like Randy went out there today and worked on cleaning up the barn and that kind of thing. So it's getting there. I think over the next couple weeks, especially Thanksgiving weekend, because he's off. Yeah, he works this weekend, so he's off that weekend. So we'll be able to get some work done out there. And that makes me feel better, because I just can't stand it when all my stuff is in disarray. And as well as I do that if you live on a homestead, it's not perfect. And if your homestead is perfect, then it's, I don't know. I don't even know what to think about that. I don't know how I would react if I had a homestead that was like perfect. But it seems like there's always projects going on, and you always got a junk pile sitting somewhere. And, you're usually hoarding things like roofing metal and old pieces of lumber and crap like that. And, it's just, I'm not critical of that stuff, but I just like it to be orderly, I guess. So, Oh,
yeah. I got you. I mean, you've seen my shop, all the stuff I've got in there.
You got tons of stuff in your shop.
Extra
I don't know how you
building
didn't kill yourself pulling that billboard tarp off the top shelf.
Man, that thing is stinking heavy. I was not about to get the tractor and move all that stuff. I was like, I climbed up there and just yanked the thing down. I thought I was going to die doing it. I was like, this is how I'm going to die, getting killed by a billboard tarp. Come in, somebody walks in the shop, and I'm just laying flat, and they just see my arms and legs sticking out of this tarp. So,
well, like Wile E. Coyote with an
Yeah.
anvil on top of him.
Oh yeah. Hey, tell everybody about the Black Friday deals and the herbal class.
Okay, all right. So, well, okay. So before we do that, right now, so VacMaster has got their
Oh yeah.
Black Friday deal going on. So they have like a pre-deal, and then there's going to be the Black Friday deal. I think the Black Friday deal starts either tomorrow or Friday, and it'll go all through the week. But we have a code that you can use right now to get the same discount that they're going to be giving next week. So VacMaster's code is VAC Friday 25. So it's VAC Friday 25. And that will get you 25% off anything $500 or more. Plus, you can use that code to get 25% off anything $500 or more, and you can stack our code with that, Homestead. Just spell out Homestead. So you use VAC Friday 25 and Homestead for, it's going to give you somewhere between 35 and 40% off. And you'll be able to do that next week too, but you could go and do it right now if you wanted. But their sale goes public to everybody. I think it's Friday. But yeah, go to vacmasterfresh.com and check out their chamber sealers. If you ever thought you wanted a chamber sealer or needed a chamber sealer, this is a great time to get one, because you can get one, I don't know, for somewhere between like around $600 or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, what was the code for that?
It's VAC Friday 25. VAC Friday 25.
So I'm on their website. Ooh, yeah, 25% off. All right.
And then code Homestead will get you an additional 15. So stack them. Stack those discounts.
Exactly.
Now, with Kentucky Sustainable Living, Jason and I are offering you, right now, this week, we've got our vehicle med kits on sale. So if you use BAG20, BAG20, you can get 20% off of a vehicle med kit. Let's see. We've also got Leslie's herbal class. You can get 15% off of the herbal class by using code HERB, HERB 15. So just go to in-person workshops on the website and click on Leslie's herbal class, and you can get 15% off that class. The whole month of November, you get free shipping on everything. And then, no, that's not right. Free shipping if you spend $150 or more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So free shipping on $150 or more order. But for the whole month of November, you can get 10% off everything. So that's like medical kits, medical supplies, soap, radios, comfrey, water filters, whatever it is, you can get 10% off. And it's an automatic. We've got it set up to take it off automatically. You don't need a code for that. Leslie's herbal class is going to be December. What is the date? December 6th?
Yeah. It's coming up quick.
Yeah. So it's the first first Saturday in December. And it's going to be in Bowling Green at the WKU Ag Expo Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling y'all, my brain is fried. It is fried. But it's going to be the WKU Ag Expo Center. It's the Beyond the Basics class. So not only is Leslie going to be teaching us, tinctures and salves and all that kind of stuff, she's going to be getting into figuring out what you need in your herbal apothecary and what works best for you, and talking about, whether you're like warm versus cold, and what was the other one?
Wet versus dry.
Yeah, wet versus dry. I started to say moist. I hate that word. I don't even like. Ugh. But she's going to be teaching about all of that stuff. If you all have not followed Leslie, she's got a YouTube channel. She's also on Facebook. It's the School of Earth and Awe. Oh my gosh, she's an absolute wealth of knowledge. And we're to the point now, like I think I've pretty much pulled Randy over to the herbal side. Used to he was like, yeah, I'll take Alka-Seltzer or something like that. And now he's like, okay, we got all those bottles of those things that you've made. What do I take for this? And
Tell me which bottle to take.
Yeah, he was actually, he's been congested, and so he's been doctoring himself up today with some tinctures that I had in there. So he was like, this stuff tastes really bad. Like, what do you expect? But and anytime we have anything going on, I'll just text Leslie and I'm like, okay, this is happening. And she's like, okay, do you have this, this, and this? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, take this now and take the, she just lays it all out for me. So if you're not following Leslie on School of Earth and All, you need to be, because she is amazing.
She's
a great teacher.
She's gotten several of those texts from me too. So you're not the one.
And when she teaches a class, she lays it all out for you. It's not, it's not like some mystical thing that she's trying to hide. It's not. She lays it all out for you and why it works that way. And recently I found out she put a post on Facebook. I don't know, like 2 weeks ago or something like that. And it was a date, and it said 10 years ago today, I had a stroke. And I had no idea that she had a stroke.
Yeah.
And she was like in her young 30s then. I mean, isn't she just like 40 now?
Yeah.
She's right around that age. And so, I mean, she was really too young to be having a stroke, right?
Oh, yeah.
But that, according to the post, that is what set her on the path of, taking control, what she calls health sovereignty, right? Taking control of her health and being responsible for that and learning all of this herbal stuff and all of that. I mean, she's an absolute wealth of knowledge. Y'all need to be checking her out. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Tell us about, we might as well go ahead. We're talking about seed saving and heirloom. Yeah. We might as well get into that for a few minutes.
For a little bit.
You know what's weird? I was looking at the analytics on the website. There's a bunch of people from Singapore and China that are clicking on the website. It's kind of weird. Yeah. We're not selling to China. We're not selling to Singapore. We're selling to Americans. So just kind of weird.
That is kind of weird.
The Chicovs are hacking us. So all right.
I don't know about all that, but
they might be. You never know. So
right now we're in, it's November. Harvest season is winding way down. I know when we met for the land navigation class, Greg was showing us pictures of all the peppers that they had gone out and harvested because we were getting ready to have a freeze. And they had, what did he tell me? They had
it was stupid amounts of peppers and stuff.
I know. Did he say they had every row, there was 30 plants in each row or something like that? It was some crazy number.
He had the biggest stock pots he had full of peppers.
I know. And they're big pots, and there was 5 or 6 of them in the picture that he showed us. And that's not even their first harvest. It was their last one.
Yeah.
But I know that, people are bringing in those last bits out of the garden and all that kind of thing. Your seeds, the seeds are definitely a preparedness thing, right? They're a homesteading thing, but they're also a preparedness thing. For if you're able to put up your seeds correctly, that's just going to keep, that's sustaining your food supply for the next season. And it's what, we've done. The world has done this for generations and generations. It's just how we grow food. But so there's two different kinds of seeds when you're talking about saving seeds. You have open pollinated seeds, and then you have heirloom seeds. And when you're talking about saving seeds, you want heirloom seeds. So, like, when you go to Rural King or even the dollar store or Walmart or wherever, or order your seeds online, the package will say whether it's an heirloom seed or not. And what that means is that you're getting the plant that seed is going to produce is going to give you the fruit that's on that is on that plant. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles, and now you're yawning.
You made me laugh.
Heirloom varieties are going to give you what's in the package. Hybrid seeds are not. They might make a plant, but they're not going to make the fruit. Or if they do make fruit, it's going to be little bitty fruit or low quality fruit. But more than likely, it's not going to give you fruit the second year. I have mixed feelings about that. There's part of me, I kind of think that they do that on purpose or something just so you can't be sustainable. But you want to stick with heirloom seeds just so you can get what you can reproduce every year. Now, I will say this. There are some plants that, so like melons and things like that, they get cross-pollinated, and usually by pollinators, like bees and hummingbirds and, all those animals that crawl, or all those bugs that crawl all over your stuff and everything, they get cross-pollinated, and they need that. Sometimes you can mix, like if you plant peppers close to your tomatoes, you can get spicy tomatoes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can get tomatoes that have a little bit of heat to them. And that's just because they're, the same kind of thing. If you put different kinds of melons close to each other, they can get cross-pollinated. So like I might have pumpkins in one area of my garden and put tromboncinos in another area of the garden. And if they're too close together, the bees will cross-pollinate those. And I'll get tromboncinos this year, and I'll get pumpkins this year. But next year, if I use those seeds, I might not get what I'm looking for. I might think, oh, I harvest these from a tromboncino, and that's what I'm going to get. And that's not what comes out. So if you have things that are similar like that, like gourds or something like that, they need to be, if you want to keep them separated and have the true seed, they need to be at least 25 feet apart. So, and really, I don't know, it might not be a bad idea for them to be further apart than that, if you want to make sure that you keep that true seed for what you're doing.
Makes sense. Miss Sharon said she wants a collection of Japanese seeds. I don't know what kind of that. I don't know. Miss Sharon, what kind of Japanese seeds? Are we talking like teriyaki chicken seeds?
Well, Michelle says, I didn't know that. I bought jalapeno seeds from the Dollar Tree store, and the plant produced weary peppers.
Interesting.
I don't knock getting seeds from, the dollar store or Dollar Tree or whatever, but sometimes that happens. But I've even ordered seeds from
Bear Creek or something.
Baker's, or it starts with a B. It's not Bear Creek. It's
Baker. Or
I think it's called Baker's. And that wasn't what was in there. Like I ordered some watermelon seeds, and and it was cantaloupe that I got. And those are very different seeds, right?
Yeah.
Mostly the Japanese. Oh, okay. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Japanese melon seeds.
When you're harvesting seeds from those plants, you need to let whatever the plant is, you need to let it. She said, I'm knocking it. I'll do better next year. So sometimes it doesn't matter, Michelle. Sometimes you still get funky seeds, but when you're harvesting seeds, you need to let that fruit ripen fully. So what that looks like is with cucumbers, you know how you harvest them when they're nice and green and you're like, oh, that looks like a good cucumber. We've all had cucumbers that have been on the vine that have like turned yellow, and then they get to the point that the outside is hard. That's when you harvest them. So you need to leave a few of them on the vine that you let ripen fully, and that's where you're going to take your seeds from. Okay. Or like with beans right now, we were talking about earlier that we were out there cleaning up the garden. I had ordered some, they're called velvet beans from, David the Good. If you guys watch him on YouTube. And I had ordered them like 2 years ago, and I was going through my seed stuff and I saw them in there and I thought, I need to plant these because, seeds only last so long, and I thought I need to plant these so they don't go bad. So I went out and planted them in my fence row of my garden, and because they vine and everything. So I have all of these, and when they grow, they get about this long, and they're black velvet. And when you take the seeds out, the seeds they're like speckled. They're actually really pretty seeds. And so I have a bunch of them in my fence row, and I told the kids when they were cleaning out the garden, I said, don't pull these, don't touch these, let them stay, because those need to completely dry out. Like that whole, same with green beans, peas, all that kind of stuff. They need to completely dry out, and that outside of the bean, the shell that it's in, needs to get where it's just like almost like paper, like crumbly. And then you'll take the seed and make sure those seeds are completely dry. Even after you pull them out of that, dried shell, you should lay them on a wire rack and let them dry completely. It can be a screen or whatever. Just leave them out, let them dry. And then you can store them. But you want to, see you, Michelle. You want to make sure that, you're letting that whatever the fruit is, if it's a watermelon, if it's cantaloupe, it's a pumpkin, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you want to let it get completely ripe, and then you're going to harvest the seed out of it. Do you have anything to add? I feel like I'm the only one talking.
You do a lot more gardening than me. The only thing I saved was tromboncino, or however you say it. I saved a bunch of seeds from that. I saved, what was it? Mike Sparks gave me a bunch of seeds for some tomatoes. There were some kind of heirloom tomatoes, and there was some story behind it.
The Sparks tomatoes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I got a bunch of those. I grew a few of those, saved the seeds off it, and then what else I got a bunch of tobacco seeds I saved. So I'm going to try my hand again at tobacco in the spring. I want to grow a big patch of backer for medicinal purposes.
Now, so when you're harvesting wet seeds, so when I say wet seeds, I'm talking about like tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, that kind of thing. You want to scoop all that stuff out and put it in a jar and put a little bit of water in there. And then you're going to let it set for 2 to 4 days. And basically what you're doing is letting it ferment. And it's going to, you're going to shake it up, and it's going to, cause that stuff, it gets that goopy seed coat stuff off of it. And and then, you're able to strain all that stuff off, and then you let those seeds dry, and then you need to let them dry completely, because when you start packing seeds up, if there's any kind of moisture, they can mold, and if there's significant moisture, they'll even sprout. But you don't want that to happen. So make sure that they're completely dry. But you put them in a jar and just for, I don't know, 2 to 4 days, something like that. Let that shake up, get all that goopy stuff off of them, and then strain all that off. And usually what I do, I'll lay them out on a paper towel or on a paper plate or something like that and set them out. I always have to bring them in here to this room in my office now, because my cats are stupid and they get into stuff like that. What else? I'm looking at my notes here, making sure I don't forget anything. So seed storage, they need to be stored in a cool, dry place. They make those little envelopes that you can put them in. And there are people that put them in little Ziploc bags, but and I will use the little Ziploc bags if somebody wants some seeds and I have some, and I'll put some in there and take them to them. But when I store them, I like storing them in the paper envelope things. But so you can store for up to 1 to 2 years. You can do onions, leeks, parsnip, pepper, sweet corn. 3 to 4 years, tomatoes, beans, peas, carrots, beets, and lettuce. That's the seeds will last. Cucumber, squash, cabbage, radish, those seeds will last 5+ years. I kind of look at seeds. So what happens with seeds is the older the seeds get, the more the germination rate goes down. So you may have a package of seeds. You may pull something out and be like, I bought these in 2020 or something like that. Doesn't mean I'm not going to plant them. It just means that I may not get the germination rate that I would have gotten had I planted them in 2021 or something like that. Does that make sense?
But yeah, I had a bunch of sweet corn seeds that I'd forgot about that were stuck in a drawer that were 6 years old, something like that. And I planted it. I was like, I've got some extra space. We're going to plant some sweet corn. Even though I hate sweet corn, I was like, we're going to try it. And man, the germination rate was crap on it.
Yeah. So the older that they get, and see, like, so you had them in a drawer. Maybe if they had been stored, like in a box or not, just someplace that cool, dry, that kind of thing, maybe it would have been different, or if you had stored them in a different place. But that's it just because if I found some seeds that were old, it doesn't mean that I won't use them. But instead of putting, like a couple seeds in each hole, I might put 4 or 5 seeds in each hole or something like that, just because your germination rate is going to go down a little bit. And one thing that I know we're not talking about planting gardens, but one thing that some people don't know this about corn, because a lot of people, you go out and see corn, especially where I live and where you live, people plant huge fields of corn, right? Because they're getting corn to feed animals and that kind of stuff. But you see rows and rows and rows and rows of corn. And then people plant their small garden and they're like, oh, you plant corn in rows. You don't plant corn in rows. You plant them in blocks. So you might have, you might say you have 6 rows of corn that are maybe, I don't know, 12 feet long. But you need to plant it like in a square, not just one long row of corn. Corn will, it pollinates, or it has to cross-pollinate itself, I guess. And it works better if it's in a block instead of one long row. You'll get a bigger yield if you plant corn in a block as opposed to rows of corn. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I've got.
Charles says he's got the worst luck at growing beets. I can grow turnips and radishes, just not beets. I've never grown any of it. I am not, as you might be aware, I'm not a huge gardener. I like eating meat. I grow meat is what I grow. That, and I grow perennial systems. I've got my food forest where I don't have to go out and mess with it. And then I fill in the food forest. If we got bare spots, I'll go out and, stick some tomatoes and stuff like that in stuff, while you got a bare spot, just fill it in for there until it fills in the next year with your perennial stuff. That's my attitude on that. I don't know. I'm not a big
let me tell you. So the guy the guy, my milk guy, right? His name's Mose. We went out there, and their garden area it's a pretty good size area, and it's out in front of their house. And this is what I could use some ribeye seeds too, Miss Sharon.
Yeah.
What Charles said brought this up in my mind, but he had his whole garden was covered with, like, I wasn't sure what it was. It was some kind of green cover crop, right? And he goes out there with Randy and comes back in with a turnip, and I don't eat turnips. I don't like turnips. And he doesn't like turnips either. But so he comes back in with this turnip that, I mean, it was like that big. It was huge. I've never seen a turnip as big as this thing. And his whole garden is filled up with turnips. And I'm like, why are you planting turnips? And he said, somebody had told him that they're the perfect mulch, because we were talking about, I was thinking, I was like, well, you're out there growing turnips. You could because he bought some of our piglets. So he has like 5 pigs that he got from us. Right. And I said, you could turn your pigs loose in there and they could just eat your turnips, and that would help with your feed bill or whatever. And he goes, but I don't want them to eat the turnips. And I'm like, then why are you growing them if you don't eat them? And he goes, for mulch.
Yeah.
He said, you just grow them. And he said, those big turnips will turn into just like this big ball of organic matter or whatever. And he said, and then we'll till this up in the spring, and my garden will be ready for everything. Yeah. And he was talking about turnips being nitrogen fixers and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just going, oh my God, that's a great idea. Yeah. And I mean, and he doesn't eat it, so he just uses it as mulch, I'm just like, that's pretty smart.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Daikon radishes are one of the things that they do that with. They'll go and plant daikon radishes, and the daikon radishes will go pretty deep, and they'll actually decompact the soil for you. And what you can go like mow down the tops and just let that set as mulch, and then the radishes that are in the ground will decompose, and then they leave this void of stuff in there, and it's supposed to help your soil big time. And Charles says carbon for the soil.
He was talking about up in Ohio. He was telling me about farmers up in Ohio that because they had just done like one crop for so many years that the soil was so bad and compacted and all that, and they started doing those radishes like what you're talking about. Yeah. And he said they would get super long and bust up the soil and do basically what he does with the turnips. Yeah. But his soil out there, like the strawberries that his wife gave me, that we were out there in November picking strawberries off and eating them, and they were delicious. Yeah. She said that they start getting strawberries off of them in like May, and for 6 months out of the year, she said that they picked like 40 5-gallon buckets full of strawberries.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's insane.
Oh yeah. Bill showed up finally.
Hey Bill, I got your message, and I'll be reaching out to you, dude. It's just been a hectic week. Don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm not.
Well, I tell you, with our strawberries, this year we did pretty good on them. The rabbits started killing them though. But the year before, I was picking strawberries up until a little past Halloween.
Yeah.
So I believe it. I mean, the everbears are the way to go. I mean, you just get tons and tons of strawberries off those jokers. And I would rather have it spread out than like 2 weeks you get all the strawberries you want and they're done. I like it where you can go down there and pick a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
So hopefully this year will be another big bumper crop on strawberries. Heck, I've still got
It will be
strawberries.
for me.
I've still got strawberries in a freezer. So
You need to be freeze drying them suckers.
I know. I think I just want to make. I think I want to give them to my mom and let her make that freezer jam. I love that stuff. That on some homemade whipping cream biscuits, man. There's nothing better.
But that's all I got. I hope you. I hope you're out there saving your seeds, because that is another layer of preparedness to help your family, be sustainable and grow your own food. So, I mean, by all means, you can go buy seeds while you can buy seeds. But if we get to the point where we can't buy seeds, we want to know how to get them and to continue to grow our own food, right?
Yeah. And don't go buy on the interwebs one of those seed vaults. That's the biggest waste of money ever.
Yeah.
The Mylar seed vaults that you'll buy from Emergency Essentials or I don't know, Patriot Supply or something like that. It's like these seeds might not even be the right zone for you or anything like that. And who knows how long these seeds have been sitting, in Mylar bags in a storage facility and stuff like that. Don't buy that. I mean, heck, even if you're not going to save your own seeds, go to somebody that knows how to save the seeds, that's growing heirloom stuff, and just be like, hey, can I buy some seeds from you?
Right.
If you're not going to do it.
And even Jason and I have said over and over and over again, don't think that you're going to, I don't know what I just did. Okay. Don't think that you're going to be able to never grow a garden, and then if things fall off the rails, you're going to break out your little seed vault and everything's going to be hunky-dory.
And feed the world.
Like he just said, you don't know if that stuff's going to grow in your area. You want to find things that are good for your area, and even like the bugs in your area. If squash bugs or something like that are really prevalent, and it kind of depends on your climate. It depends on the type of soil. All of those things come into play. So if you don't know how to grow a garden and you don't know how to make compost, you're going to be hurting if you get to the point that you can't go buy food, or, something happens like a pandemic and the grocery stores are shut down, whatever. You need to know how to grow food. So don't wait. Don't go order your food vault and think, oh, I'll just put this up, and when things go off the rails, and I'll put this stuff in the ground, and guess what? It takes a long time for it to grow, and you don't even know if it's going to grow at your place. No, don't do that.
And Miss Sharon wants to know about cayenne pepper seeds.
Cayenne pepper seeds. Do you let them dry before taking the seeds out? So let the pepper, you know how you can take jalapenos and cayennes and all that kind of stuff and string them up and let them dry? Do that. That's all you got to do. Let them dry. Let them get all wrinkly and all that stuff, and then open them up and take them seeds out, and you'll be good to go.
Bill says a cedar chest works great for storing seeds.
There you go. And that keeps bugs out, right? Or pests or mice or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to have to think of something, because next Wednesday is Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We're going to have to think of something fun. Are we going to go live? We'll go live, won't we?
Yeah, we'll be live. We'll be on here.
All right. We could dress up as Indians. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
No, that would not be funny.
Why not? What do
they call that? Cultural appropriation?
I don't know. Well, I'm talking about casino, not hotel Indians. So,
Jesus, why?
I mean, I used to always say dot, not feather, but then Forrest from Alabama was like, "Are you talking casino, casino or hotel. And I'm like, what? So I'm like,
yes, Charles, flower seeds as well. A lot of things. Well, and I didn't, just real quick, I didn't talk about, like lettuce and spinach and all that stuff. When you harvest those seeds, you just want to let anybody that's planted those things has seen when the weather starts to get warm, they'll bolt and they get those stalks on them with all those seeds. That's when you get the seeds off of those.
Bill says he's still learning his compost. He doesn't think it's breaking down quite like it should. Bill, it takes a hot minute, and you got to make sure your compost is getting hot enough for it to start breaking down. When you're doing,
you got to make sure that it has enough water too.
Yeah, and if you're running, you can run an 18-day pile, but you're flipping that stuff a bunch in an 18-day pile. If you're running the chicken tractor on steroids or the chicken tractor on meth, you're going to look at 4 weeks before that compost is pretty well ready and finished on it. So it takes some time. You should be able to see it every time. If you're running the chicken tractor on meth, every time you move it down, it should be breaking down a little bit more as you go on. And when you're flipping it, you need to put and make sure it's got enough moisture. You want to take a handful of that and squeeze it, and you want 1 drop to come out when you squeeze a handful of it. If you don't get 1 drop coming out, it's too dry. And then if it's too wet, you're going to have to spread it out and let it dry just a little bit. But that moisture, and then making sure that stuff gets hot enough, but not too hot. If you start breaking your pile open and you're getting white inside there, that is aerobic. Yeah. Or that's anaerobic bacteria.
That's anaerobic,
yeah. So you don't want the white stuff. That means you're getting too hot in there.
So that means you just need to add some water, and you can make like a little hole and let some air get to it. It doesn't mean that you need to throw it out. It doesn't mean that you need to get rid of it. It just is going to take a little bit longer to break down.
And if it's not getting hot enough, a little bit of nitrogen will go a long way on heating that thing up. Go out there and throw some chicken poop on it, or throw some comfrey in it, or go out there every morning.
Extra grass.
Yeah, go out there and pee on top of it, and that'll help it. It will. There's tons of nitrogen in your pee.
Oh my God, Jason. All right, I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed.
Tons of nitrogen in your pee. So
it's the visual. I just don't want to. I don't want to see people out there peeing on their stuff.
That's why you live where we live, so nobody's watching you pee. So.
I'm not going to be peeing outside anyway.
All right. Shelly's got to get some sleep, or she's going to turn into a pumpkin. I've got a ton of stuff I've got to do tonight. I've got to get orders ready, and then I got to send out. I got to email orders. We got to order some new supplies. We got a ton of supplies we've got to order and get shipped out and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to be up for a hot minute. So
I'm going to bed.
All right, guys, we appreciate it. We'll be back here, me and her, next Wednesday for our Thanksgiving special, dressed up as Indians and pilgrims. Maybe.
No, we will not be.
Okay. What if we dress up like turkeys?
Jason should dress up like a turkey because he is a turkey.
Yeah, I'll try. So, but we'll be back. I'll be back.
Dress up as the turkey. I'll dress up as the farmer.
Why does it always come to violence against me?
Well, I have overalls.
I've got overalls too. I'm just glad we won't have to be wearing overalls this weekend for training like we did last weekend or the weekend before.
Yeah, so, I'm glad it's not going to be super cold.
Well, but guys, we appreciate it. I'll be back here Friday morning, 8 o'clock. I don't know what we're talking about yet, but something will pop in my head and I'll make some notes for it and make it a good show. But guys, we appreciate it. I'll see you Friday morning, 8 o'clock. And then if you want to catch me and Shelly, it'll be next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. But we appreciate it, and we'll see y'all soon.
Thank y'all. See you later.